Hello, I'm Craig Pontey from Raywhite at Double Bay, and I'm here with my very good friend Daniel Pym from Loan Market. We're here to talk to you today about what's really going on out there in the world, what's happening in the financing world. So Dan, what is actually happening out there?
I think we're seeing a lot of clients struggle to afford the loans they've got. A lot of clients that we're talking to are looking at refinancing to get a better deal, but they don't qualify anymore because not only has their interest rate dramatically increased, but so has their lending capacities dramatically decreased.
So wow, it's quite amazing out there. You could borrow money sub 2% last year. It's now, what is it now?
A good variable rate is just around about 4%.
Wow.
And like a 1 year fixed rate's 4.5%.
Gee, that's changed dramatically. So that's going to put some pressure on people out there. Obviously the government's trying to manage inflation at the moment, which they're not doing a very good job at. This is just going to create some trouble. So what's happening with investors? How are they handling it out there?
I think investors are really being squeezed at the moment because a lot of them were probably paying principal and interest repayments when rates were really cheap and when their rent was the rental income was covering the loan. And now that their repayments have doubled, they're trying to get back to interest-only repayments, and a lot of them don't qualify. So I think unfortunately that's bad news for tenants because there's not enough rental properties in the market at
and that's what's putting pressure on rents, that exact thing.
Yeah.
So talk to me about what's happening. I hear the New South Wales state government in January next year is talking about changing stamp duty. Is that happening?
I hope so. They're planning on taking that to Parliament, and if it passes Parliament, it'll be available from January next year, where instead of first home buyers having to pay stamp duty up front, they'll be able to buy a property for up to 1.5 million and go into a land tax model, which means that it's substantially cheaper to set up a property. They could save $60,000 in upfront costs, and I think it's going to really help first home buyers get into the market easier.
Well, it's good to see the government doing something around that because the market at the moment is still relatively okay. So what's happening out there, there's a limited amount of stock coming on. So stock levels are down nearly 65% at the moment this time of year. So we're seeing that as a result of low stock levels, the activity's still happening out there. But what is not selling or getting a bit harder to sell is things a bit off the pace, busy street, bad layout, that sort of stuff. But the most amazing thing out there is the top end of the market. It's on fire. I've never seen, and when I say top end in the east, I'm talking sort of 15, 20, 25, plus is the strongest I've ever seen it, and it's local money. It's not offshore money. So there's been, as you know, a lot of money made on stock market, people floating companies, and so we're really in that sort of state of I'm not quite sure what yet. Availability of capital, is it still easy to borrow money or is it still difficult?
It's definitely harder to qualify. I think borrowing capacities have dropped by about 30%. I think it's just because the market's changing. I'd love to see the Reserve Bank just put a hold on any movement and give some confidence back to the market. But when rates are going up every month, it's a little hard to be confident.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that we're in that environment for some time to come. But anyway, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Well, look, thanks very much for listening to us today. If Dan or I can help you with anything, please feel free to call us. All the best.